Oh, hi there. Just listen to this storm. It's another recording taken from the exciting Thunderbird Library of Rescues. The suspension bridge at Allington was taking a terrific pounding from the storm. And high in one of the bridge towers, the controller's assistant was getting rather worried.
Some storm. Seems to be getting worse.
Now the bridge can take it. Yes, Minister, I agree. Yes, but... Yes, I agree, but... Yes, very well. There'll be no delay. You can rest assured of that, Minister. I appreciate the situation. Allington Bridge will be reopened as soon as we have checked there's no storm damage. Yes, I've got my men working on it now. Ah, there you are. Well, what'd you find out?
Well, all the readings were normal, but...
Just like all my instruments here said. Still think that spot check was worth it, eh?
That was a bad storm we had. It could have severely weakened the structure of the bridge.
It could have, but it didn't. I'm giving the orders for the bridge to be reopened. We've wasted enough time.
It had been calculated that the best position for an attempt to launch a space vehicle to Mars would be from England. And a special launch pad had been prepared quite close to Allington, especially for that purpose. The rocket, though, had been assembled in the States and was now approaching the bridge on the final stage of its journey. Time was of the utmost importance. Even as the rocket was being transported, two space engineers were busily working inside the nose cone, putting the finishing touches to the radio equipment.
Great idea, this, sending us over to England with the ship. These tuning up jobs would have taken another week.
It wasn't done to give us a joyride. You know, if they don't meet this launching date, it'll be another 4 years before Mars is in the right position again.
Yeah, I know. Well, that just about wraps it up. How about a cup of coffee?
You know, I get a kind of funny feeling inside when I think about this baby. Just think, this rocket is all set to take off to Mars. All systems go. You know, it can take off, just like that. What if something went wrong, Bill?
Don't worry, nothing's gonna go wrong. You're not gonna get thrown into space. The countdown can't start until the rocket is upended into go position.
Yeah, all the same,
Now quit worrying, will you? You'll be back in San Diego with your wife and kids before they've even missed you.
As the enormous transporter vehicle moved slowly through the English countryside, the two engineers settled back in the takeoff couches to enjoy the rest of the ride. Meanwhile, Brains was following the progress on the video at the home of Lady Penelope.
These are the last stages of the long journey that has brought the Martian probe rocket ship all the way.
Is the picture satisfactory, Darcy?
Yeah. Thank you, Parker. Say, look, Lady Penelope. Get a load of that huge ship. Isn't it something?
I've given you quite a weak cup. Is that all right? Americans usually prefer it that way.
Oh, thank you, Lady Penelope. Oh, gee, I sure bet Professor Wingrove and his boys are excited now that their project is nearing completion.
It sure was nice of him to invite me over to England to watch the blast-off.
Oh, look, there's Professor Wingrove now.
I dare say most of you will have read in your newspapers in England that because of the present position of Mars, the firing has to take place from this side of the ocean. A launching of this size without the facilities of Cape Kennedy would cause a lot of problems. But we have solved the situation by making the space vehicle under countdown completely automatic.
Now, that's enough of that for the time being. I feel I would be failing in my duties as hostess if I didn't tell you that in my home, everything stops for tea.
Yes, sir. Yes. We're already here for the rocket ship to cross. The bridge is closed to normal traffic. Yes, sir. The leading escort vehicles have just started across. Goodbye. And it would appear that everything is proceeding exactly to schedule.
Later that afternoon, Brains returned to the video to watch the final stages of the journey.
And this particular bridge was constructed 42 years ago as a link in the mighty north-south superhighway. The transporting of the Martian probe rocket has caused a temporary diversion. Through traffic today is being directed over the Hollis Bridge.
By now, the transporter had reached the approach road to the bridge and began the slow journey across.
The tonnage indicator is at maximum.
I had no idea the rocket was going to go as slow as this.
Never mind. It looks as if the bridge can take it.
But now, as the cavalcade reached the center span and began to move out over the swirling water below, the bridge began to tremble. Cracks began to appear in the roadway, small to begin with, but then, as it took the whole weight of the transporter and its giant cargo, they began to widen. Suddenly, the suspension cables, which held the weight of the bridge, began to snap like cotton.
Hey, what's going on?
What in thunder was that?
She's not going to make it. She's not going to make it.
Lady Penelope! Lady Penelope! The bridge! It's gonna collapse! Look! It's gonna collapse!
The whole roadway was sagging to one side.
Come on. Come on. We're not gonna make it, Bill. We're not gonna make it.
The transporter began sliding toward the parapet. Then, with one final lurch, the whole of the center support structure seemed to explode, and the road, together with the transporter, plummeted down into the water, where the rocket sank immediately, ending up on the riverbed in an upright position, the bridge rubble almost covering it.
Bill, do you know what's happened? The automatic countdown started. The impact must have started the countdown.
Can't anybody hear us? Come in, please.
What are they doing up there? 3 hours gone already. No sign of any action. There must be something we can do in here to stop the takeoff.
Not a thing, Frank. When the countdown starts, that's it.
But couldn't we smash up some of the equipment or something?
Yeah, we could, and the whole thing would probably explode.
This is Central Control. Can you hear me? This is Central Control. Can you hear me? Come in, please. Over.
They've got through, Bill. They've got through.
Meanwhile, with the aid of Lady Penelope, Brains had gone down to the bridge to see if there was anything he could do to help.
Oh, hi there. Do you think I can be of any help?
How did you get in here?
Never you mind how I got here. Now, what's the position?
The rocket's activated itself. It's going to blow up in just under 8 hours.
It isn't necessary for you to inform him of the position, Clayton.
Have you men attempted to call international rescue?
No, we have not called international rescue. It's a perfectly straightforward problem that we're capable of handling ourselves.
Do you mean to say this is all the equipment you've got?
And what's wrong with our equipment, may I ask?
Oh, this river dock stuff is antiquated. It's at least 100 years out of date.
Oh, an expert on rescue, are we?
Look, we haven't got time to argue. The fella's just trying to help.
Yes, I suppose so, but we don't need any help from him or anyone else.
Well, listen, I think you do, and I'm not gonna sit by and...
So that's it, you're a troublemaker, huh? Clayton, keep an eye on this fella. We can't have him running all over the site, sticking his nose in. Don't try and interfere with things you know nothing about.
I'm sorry. Don't blame him too much. He's sort of upset and worried at the moment. Yeah, I understand. Do us a favor. Try and keep out of sight.
Oh yeah, sure. But he just had to do something. Luckily, he had his two-way wrist video with him.
Calling International Rescue. This is Brains at Allington Suspension Bridge, England.
This is John Tracy at International Rescue Satellite. Is that you, Brains? What's up?
Listen to me, John, and listen to me carefully. I've got a job for you.
I'm all ears, Brains. What are you whispering for?
Well, the thing is, I'm over here at the bridge in Allington, and there's a rocket which is right under the thing, under the sea, and it could be that there's a very dangerous situation building up here.
What on earth's he up to now?
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. He's talking into his watch.
Yeah, I knew it all along. The man's a nut. Yeah, okay, Brains. I get the picture. Thunderbirds 1 and 4 required. Stand by. There's only 7 hours before the rocket blasts off, Father.
Okay, John. Tell Brains we'll be there as soon as we can. We've been waiting for some action.
Right, Dad. Over and out.
Carry on, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Thunderbird 1 had blasted off by the time Virgil and I had selected the equipment that we might need on this rescue. With this aboard, we were on our way. Back at the bridge, one of the floating cranes from Allington docks had capsized in a lifting attempt. But luckily, the crew all managed to get clear. It was then that International Rescue made their appearance. Scott set Thunderbird 1 down close to central control, and Virgil brought Thunderbird 2 low in over the estuary and dropped Pod 4 into the water, where I quickly launched Thunderbird 4 and made my way to the bridge.
Gordon, I can't talk any louder, so please listen carefully. What's it like down there?
Oh, Brains, you old son of a gun. Keep tuned in. I'll give you the full rundown.
Yeah? Yeah, sure. I get you. I see. Yeah.
You'd think they'd have the decency to advise me of their plans.
I see.
What's the matter?
Okay. Yeah, and Kurt the girders that way.
That poor chap's talking into his watch
That
again.
ought to do it. Yeah,
Say,
I should think.
I don't suppose,
It'll be more manageable that
I don't
way.
suppose he might have escaped from somewhere, huh?
And then, Thunderbird 2 can lift it in sections.
All right, Brains. I'll try it, but it's gonna take some time. You'll have to give me about 20 minutes, Scott. The plan was for me to use the laser beam cutters in the nose of Thunderbird 4 to burn through the mass of twisted metal that surrounded the nose cone. Then Virgil would be able to bring in Thunderbird 2 and shift some of the wreckage.
Okay, Scott. Clear for Virgil.
Thanks, Gordon. Thunderbird 2, it's all yours.
At Scott's command, Virgil proceeded to lower the enormous steel jaws of the lifting grab down into the water and began the task of lifting the debris from around the stricken craft, all the time aware that the time was running out for those poor guys inside. Virgil made trip after trip from the site, dumping rubble well away from the bridge, whilst I directed the operation from underwater. Brains, still in the control room, followed progress on his wrist video.
Gordon, is the nose cone clear yet?
No. And there's only 15 minutes left. We'll never make it in time.
Now, look, this may sound crazy, Gordon, but this is what I want you to do.
You've got to get that nose cone clear by firing the missiles.
He's still at it, poor fella. Seems to be under some delusion that he's in charge of the rescue.
We're desperate enough even to listen to him.
Yes, but he's just suggested they should fire missiles.
Hey, what are they trying to do? Blow us to pieces?
They needn't bother. Look at the time now.
Is the debris clear yet, Gordon?
Is it clear?
It's okay, Brains! She's clear! It's gone quiet again.
They won't give up until the end. They're planning something.
The only thing to do in the time left was to try and jolt the nose cone clear, using the hydraulic rams on Thunderbird 4. It worked. Slowly, the nose cone rose to the surface.
They've done it! They've got the nose cone clear!
Well done, Gordon. It's all yours, Virgil.
But it wasn't over yet. There was still that rocket ticking the last seconds away below water. Virgil hurriedly lowered the magnetic clamps in place of the grab which he'd now jettisoned, and hovering over the water, picked up the nose cone and carried it and its passengers to safety.
Hey, Bill, we're airborne. We're clear of the river.
Yeah, with half a minute to spare.
Just in time. With a great roar, a huge column of smoke, steam, and water shot skywards. The giant rocket climbed unsteadily into the sky and hung there for a second. That must have been one of the closest escapes yet. The two space engineers sure were glad to be released from that capsule. A little shaken up, but nothing that a few days' holiday wouldn't cure. But it's a pity that the Mars shot couldn't take place. One good thing did come out of it, though. They proved that the automatic countdown device works, even underwater. Goodbye now. See you soon.